What's up, reefers, and welcome back to another video here at Aqua. My name is Manny, and today we are going to be discussing the various animals that make for a good cleanup crew. We'll be showing you some of our favorite members of the cleanup crew and which of them is best suited for any given situation. Now, let's get into the video. As reefers, when we say cleanup crew, we are referring to the fish and inverts that we put in our tanks to help with things like removing detritus, nuisance algae, and different types of pests. The key word in the previous sentence is help. I say this because ultimately you are the most important member of your cleanup crew. What I mean by that is that you as a reefer are the one that has the most influence on algae or pests being in the tank, oftentimes from things like overfeeding the tank or failing to do routine inspections and dipping to keep pests out. You're also the most capable of addressing pest or algae issues to prevent them from getting out of hand, while your cleanup crew is simply there to help you with mitigating those issues once they arise. These fish and inverts are valuable members of a reef tank because they help us keep our tanks clean and pest-free through their natural dietary preferences. The best cleanup crew has a diverse combination of animals, with each member having a specific job to do, and when working in unison, make for a clean and healthy reef tank. Today, we want to go through a list of different fish and invertebrates that make for a good cleanup crew and then give the pros and cons of each of these animals. Probably the most beloved members of our cleanup crew are tangs and surgeonfish. This is because they feed almost exclusively on different types of algae, are productive throughout most of the day, and are beautiful fish with tons of personality. Some of the pros of keeping tangs in the aquarium are the following. They are extremely productive at eating algae and can get into places that you may not be able to reach with your hands. They often will eat many different types of algae, including hair algae, film algae, bryopsis, turf algae, and some will even go after bubble algae as well. And they come in a wide variety of colors that can really help add some life and personality to your tank. Some of the cons are as follows. Tangs require a larger tank to maintain their health because they usually have large territories in the wild where they can roam and graze throughout the day. So they are not a good option for smaller tanks. Tangs can sometimes be very aggressive or territorial in reef tanks, so care must be taken to ensure they aren't going to war with the other fish in the tank. Tangs are often very susceptible to a wide variety of diseases and must be well cared for to avoid any stress which might compromise their immune systems. The next animal on our list are hermit crabs. There are many different types of hermit crabs that we can put in our tanks to help with algae and detritus removal. We usually recommend the smaller varieties as they tend to be less likely to develop a taste for our precious corals or other tank inhabitants. Some of the pros of keeping hermit crabs in our aquarium are the following. Many hermit crabs will eat detritus or extra food that is missed by our fish or corals during feeding, thus keeping our nutrients from getting out of hand. They often will eat many different types of algae, but are especially good at eating hair and turf algae. And they can easily get into the little nooks and crannies of our rockwork that might be out of reach for our tangs and other animals. Some of the cons are as follows. Hermits will steal food from our corals on occasion, and this can lead to stress for the corals. Hermits can sometimes develop a taste for fleshy corals, but this usually isn't a problem as long as your corals don't have any dying tissue. And like most inverts, they can be sensitive to changes in salinity, so salinity must be kept stable to avoid any die-off. The next animals on our list are another type of invertebrate, snails and conches. Snails and conches are a great member of the cleanup crew because they are awesome algae eaters and some will also help with detritus. There are many different types of snails, each of which can target algae while keeping our corals off their menu. Some of the pros of keeping snails or conches in our aquarium are the following. The majority of snails are completely reef safe, so you won't have to worry about them going after your corals or fish. They literally spend all of their time trying to find food and can get a lot done throughout the course of the day. And finally, they can get into smaller spaces in the rock. They can also clean up our glass for us, and conches specifically will clean the sandbed along with anything they can reach on the sandbed. Some of the cons of snails and conches are as follows. Some of the larger varieties, like turbo snails, can bulldoze through our coral and cause them to fall off the rockwork or racks. Snails can sometimes get into the filtration and cause issues with pumps or power heads. And similarly to hermit crabs, they can be very sensitive to changes in salinity and can quickly die off if salinity changes too quickly. The next animal on our list are wrasses. Wrasses are some of my favorite members of a cleanup crew because they are beautiful fish with awesome personalities that can really help with managing unwanted pests in a reef aquarium. Wrasses are great because they will go after a variety of pests that can cause some serious issues in a reef tank. Some of the pros of keeping wrasses in our aquarium are the following. Many types of wrasses will go after pests like flatworms, and the cleaner wrasse will even go after flukes. They are very productive hunters and can get into small spaces that we might not be able to see or get into ourselves. Finally, they're a lot of fun to watch as they go about their business in your tank while hunting and playfully darting in and out of the rockwork. Some of the cons of wrasses are, some varieties of wrasse will go after invertebrates and can make quick work of shrimps, crabs, or snails. Wrasses are prone to internal parasites and can decline in health very quickly without many of the external signs we would see on other fish. And some varieties of wrasses need a sand bed for sleeping at night, so they might not be a good candidate for bare-bottom tanks or tanks with rubble as substrate. Another great addition to the cleanup crew are urchins. Urchins are powerhouses when it comes to eating algae and can make quick work of large patches in a relatively short period of time. In addition to this, urchins are very different from most animals you see in the reef tank and can add a unique element in terms of diversity within a reef. Some of the pros of keeping urchins in the aquarium are the following. Urchins are very productive at removing algae, and some will even go after coralline algae, which can be cumbersome to remove. Urchins can get algae that may have grown out a bit, which other cleanup crew might not be able to remove, and they often get a lot of their work done at night where other animals like your tangs might be asleep. Some of the cons of urchins are, they can and often will pick up things as they move throughout your tank. Although it might make for a good laugh, it can also become quite annoying if they move something of importance like a frag. Some of the larger varieties can have long spines that can cause quite a painful splinter if you actually bump into them a little bit too hard. And urchins can be very sensitive to any decline in water quality and can quickly perish if you let any parameters get out of hand. A great option for cleanup crew are various types of shrimp. There are many different types of shrimp that you can add to your reef tank. Some will clean fish or corals, some will eat detritus, and some will even eat those dreaded aptasia. Some of the pros of keeping shrimp in our aquarium are the following. Shrimp are seemingly always hungry and will jump at the opportunity to grab any excess food from your tank. Some species of shrimp, such as the cleaner shrimp, will literally clean parasites off your fish and help improve their health. And some species like peppermint shrimp are known to eat aptasia anemones, which can otherwise take over your tank. Some of the cons of shrimp are, they are opportunistic feeders and will often steal food from your corals if they aren't distracted by another food source in the tank. They can sometimes develop a taste for corals, so you need to keep a close eye on them and may have to remove them if they are developing bad habits. And finally, they are very sensitive to changes in salinity and can perish if you don't keep salinity stable. The final mention on our list for a cleanup crew are gobies and blennies. Gobies and blennies are a great option because they come in a variety of sizes and have a variety of dietary benefits for our tanks. Some will clean up rockwork and glass, while others are awesome sand sifters. Some of the pros of keeping gobies or blennies in our aquarium are the following. Some of the smaller varieties can live in smaller aquariums, making them a great option for algae control in tanks that might be too small for tanks. Blennies have quirky personalities and can be fun to watch as they pop out of their hides to go eat algae. And certain gobies can do a really good job cleaning and sifting through the sand to make sure it is clean and free of detritus. Some of the cons of gobies and blennies are, sand sifting gobies can drop sand all over corals, and this can be problematic if we don't clear the sand in time. Some varieties of blennies and gobies can get a bit aggressive and will nip at other fishes as the fishes swim past their hides. And finally, they tend to hide out in the rockwork or the sand bed, so they aren't the best option if you're looking for a fish to occupy the water column. Alright, that covers everything for this episode, and we hope you've been able to learn a little bit more about putting together a solid cleanup crew. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. If there are any other members of the cleanup crew you would like to learn more about, or have any questions about animals that we mentioned today, leave a comment below and let us know so we can cover it in future videos. Also, if you missed any of our previous videos, click on the links on the screen and give them a watch. Until next time, happy reefing and see you soon.